The dawning of a new era in CSB sports.
We're so awesome that even our school wants us. You got to come on here. AllNoiseRadio.com, baby.
Bringing you a wide variety of topics in the world of sports.
Hockey.
I like the new icing rules as well. A great move by the NHL doing that.
Game of the Penguins still have all that talent. Their goaltending kills them.
Basketball.
If you got a streak and you go against the Bulls, you're going down. They broke Miami's long winning streak last year.
If they get that Eastern Conference #1 seed and everything's got to go through Conseco Fieldhouse, I think it's going to be tough to knock them off.
The Miami Heat are the two-time defending champions, but I think their road's going to be very hard to get back to the finals for the 4th straight year.
Baseball.
Money's not an issue for Derek Jeter. Money's not an issue for Alex Rodriguez. Money's not an issue for Sabathia. Money's not an issue for Mark Teixeira. But Robinson Cano, not our best player. Can't pay him. I don't like calls like this. This is ridiculous. It's bad for baseball, but you know what? Bud Selig's bad for baseball. Ruggies, they essentially let their best player walk for a far inferior ball player in Jacoby Ellsbury.
Football.
There's so many weapons on Denver. He's got an embarrassment of riches as far as targets to throw to.
Peyton Manning kind of answered the skeptics there. Didn't play well in the cold in New England. Do that with running the ball, getting first downs, sustaining drives, and let him get cold on the bench.
Well, you can't tell me he was trying to protect the field goal because there's no way you're kicking the field goal into the win from the 40.
That's a team I predicted to go to the playoffs, and they're sitting at 0-2, and they're in total disarray. But at the same time, they're 10 seconds away from being 2-0.
6 goal-to-go plays in the first half and no passes into the end zone.
Come on. The most amazing stat that I saw is Dallas' defense. They forced 4 turnovers and still lost the game.
Get ready.
We work hard. Love sports.
The knowledge.
I just want to make you look bad, Ruggs, because you always make me look bad with your sports intellect.
The passion.
Hey, Jimmy, you're going to be the best-looking guy in the unemployment line, buddy. What a disgrace.
It's the Zuki and Ruggs Show on All Noise Radio.
Live from the CSB studios in Stratford, Connecticut, it's the Zuki and Ruggs Show, covering a wide variety of topics in the world of sports. And I'm Ruggs, and I'm in the middle of a jam-packed weekend and a week that was in sports. It's like the centrifugal forces of nature and the perfect storm just met together. I mean, you just didn't know where to turn first on the TV.
Action-packed weekend, Ruggs. Action-packed, brother.
Bringing in my man, Zuki, to try to help us make sense of what happened this weekend. I mean, we had the Belmont Stakes. We had the Stanley Cup Finals and the NBA Finals, of course.
Yep.
The French Open Finals. We had Miguel Cotto against Sergio Martinez in front of a record crowd at Madison Square Garden for the middleweight title.
Yep.
We have, and we're going right into the week that was. We got the World Cup starting Thursday. We got the U.S. Open starting Thursday.
It's nuts, man.
This is just why we do this, is for weeks like this. This is when it's a lot of fun. But we're going to get into all those things later and touch on each and every one of them. But we have to start, because of the local interest and because of just how flabbergasted the two of us are and how things have gone. We're going to start in the NHL with the Stanley Cup Finals and what is going on. I mean,
I don't know, Ruggs. Ruggs, I'll tell you what's going on to answer the question. The Rangers are very much like myself in high school. They can't score. I know they scored 4 goals in Game 2, but that's a game they should have won. First, I'll start with Game 1. They get off to the hot start. They put up 2 goals early, looking good for the Rangers. We're all excited. And then after that, the Kings kind of settled things down there, and they were able to neutralize the Rangers' speed, and they totally dominated them in the third period on their way to an overtime victory.
Yeah, they started forechecking is what I really saw. I thought that changed the game right there. They just turned their forechecking on, and Rangers didn't have an answer.
No, they didn't. They didn't. Very well said, Ruggs. And that was that. I mean, I don't want to hear this. They should have won Game 1. They could have won Game 1. They did not. Now, Game 2 is a totally different animal in and of itself. I'll say this. The Rangers had no business losing Game 2. And that's the game that's going to come back to haunt them, and it already has. They had to win that game, and they didn't. And listen, Ruggs, I'll let you, shed some light on the matter. The interference call, hey, I felt as though it was interference. I felt as though Lundqvist was interfered with. I felt as though the goal should have been waved off. I've seen a lot less interference situations, and it gets called, and the goal's been disallowed. And for in this circumstance, the referee decided that the puck was already past Lundqvist at the point of contact. I don't agree with it. I think the guy was in his crease. The guy didn't let Lundqvist turn his body. I think it was Jeff King, if I'm not mistaken. I think King was in the crease, if I'm not mistaken. I forgot who it was, but I felt as though he restricted Lundqvist. He interfered with Lundqvist's ability to make the save. Should have been called. Wasn't called. Doesn't matter. Bottom line is this. The Rangers had a plethora of opportunities to win that game. Between Kreider's breakaway that he friggin' misses the entire net on, between Zuccarello on a wraparound, he has the whole top of the net to put the puck into. He sails it over the net. I don't want to hear it. The Rangers had a bevy of opportunities to win the game. They chose not to, okay? And they can't stop the Kings on the point. The Kings on the blue line. This is a shocker to me because before the series started, I really thought the Rangers were going to neutralize Drew Doughty and the blue line, and I've been dead wrong, and I'm shocked by that because they did such a masterful job against PK Subban in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they've done equally as terrible of a job in the Stanley Cup Finals. Willie Mitchell's looking like freaking Nick Lidstrom out there. It's a joke. Okay,
having a great series. Zuki, how I thought a big turning point in that game too was the non-call when they dumped it over the glass. Looked like it went clean over the glass, no call.
Yes.
Then they right after that put the goal in.
I agree, Ruggs.
That could have been a power play for the Rangers in OT.
But they've done nothing with the power play. And that's the thing. That's another thing that gets me, and it makes me laugh. And you're right, Ruggs. I'm with you 100%, buddy. There's no denying the fact there should have been a penalty. But again, all this talk, the Rangers would have gone on a power play. And what would you guys have done in the power play? Your power play sucks. What were you guys going to do in the power play? One shot on goal? I got to watch that disaster?
Last night was a joke.
It's been a joke the whole series.
Yeah.
The whole series has been a joke. I mean, it's like, we were going to the power play. Oh, yeah? What were you going to do? I got to watch Brad Richards' slow ass. I got to watch Brad Richards' slow ass skate around the ice looking like my grandfather out there on a power play. I got to watch Alain Vigneault look like he's about to vomit every time the power play's on the ice. I got to watch the Kings.
Tyler Nash in the box not out on the ice and that's all they keep talking about is why he's not out on the power play. Or why isn't he out on the power play? Put him out there. You can't be worse.
It's mystifying to me as to why he's not out there for the power play, Ruggs. It's a great point. I mean, so I understand that argument that, the Rangers would have gone the power play. Okay, maybe if you had a good power play, it's a valid point. Not with your crappy power play. But nevertheless, okay, it should have been a penalty. Maybe you would have scored one miraculously. Maybe Jonathan Quick would have slipped on a freaking banana peel, and you guys would have put one in the net.
I'm glad you said it, Zook. I would not have guessed, and not that he's not a great goaltender. I like Jonathan Quick. I would not have guessed, though, before this series that he was going to outplay Lundqvist the way he has. I think Lundqvist in Game 3
awful.
It was awful. I just gave up soft goals. And Quick obviously was magnificent. Tremendous. It's the best game he's ever played that I've seen. You can't compare that to every other game he's had.
Yeah, right.
But he's been bigger in crunch time in all three games. The Rangers did not trail in 1 second in Game 1 and Game 2 and
still
lost both games. I mean, that's just mind-boggling.
It is. It is mind-boggling, Ruggs. I mean, it's hard to wrap your head around that, but hey, it is what it is. When you get to sudden death, anything can happen. That's why it's called sudden death. The Rangers have been their own worst enemy, and Ruggs, I'm not shocked that Jonathan Quick has outplayed Lundqvist. Like I've said a few times on the show, they're the two best goalies in the league. They really, in my opinion, they're kind of 1A, 1B. I wouldn't grade Lundqvist that much higher than Quick coming into the series. I mean, I said he was the best goaltender in the world, and I stand by that. I really do think he is. But in this series, Quick has been better. And last night, forget it. Last night for the Rangers was worst-case scenario for them. They needed Henrik Lundqvist to be the good Lundqvist and they needed Jonathan Quick to be game 2 Jonathan Quick. Worst case scenario occurred. Jonathan Quick was phenomenal, and the bad Henrik Lundqvist showed up last night. I know the first goal went off a skate, off Girardi's skate. And Girardi, can you put your... I can't kill Girardi because the guy does put his body in front of the puck, but geez, you just wish he could have put... I don't know. I just wish it would have been better off not even hitting his skate, but whatever. The guy was trying to stop the puck. I can't kill Girardi on that. And ironically enough, later in the game, when the game was already over, he actually stopped a goal that would have made it 4-0. But nevertheless, he did save a goal with his skate later in the game, which I thought was so ironic. I was laughing. I was like, now he stops a goal when the game's already over. But that's just the kind of night it was for the Rangers. It was a nightmare. But now it is what it is. You're down 3-0. You can't go back in time. You can't go play game 2 again.
No,
so
I agree.
Where do you go from here?
They're capable of coming back.
All right, Ruggs.
The problem. All right,
I'm sorry,
say
Ruggs.
what you were going to say.
No,
first.
I'm sorry. I was going to ask you, what do you think they have to do, or what can they do to pull off this miracle comeback, or even just get it to like a game 7? What do you think they have to do, and what do you think their chances are, Ruggs?
Well, they obviously need to fix the power play, and we touched on that because that's the only way they can kind of, because their problem is they're getting muddled up. First of all, they're getting killed on the forecheck by the Kings. They're getting muddled up around center ice in between the red lines. They're not getting any free release and any really good chances. They did, like you said, Kreider had that chance in the second game and blew it. They've gotten some things in transition when the game's gotten chaotic, and I almost feel the chaotic game is what the Rangers need to have a chance. They need the puck to just be loose and all over the place. Unfortunately, the bounces have gone the Kings' way, and they've scored some easy goals because of turnovers in transition and the like, but they kind of need that chaotic game, but they need Lundqvist he has to improve his play by leaps and bounds over what it's been, because he has to start being the better goaltender, because I think that's the main way they can get back in it. Problem is, like I was about to say before, they're playing the Kings, who are not, they're not San Jose or one of these other teams that I can see crumbling with a 3-0 lead. The Kings are real tough.
Yeah.
It's not the team you want to try to come back 3-0. We'd said how evenly matched these teams were going in. We said we thought it was a 7-game classic series coming up, which it doesn't look like it's going to be now, but you don't want to spot a team you're that even with 3 games. It's not like we feel you're the better team and it's been fluky. It hasn't been fluky. The Kings have just been better. Have shown up and been better.
Yep, I agree, Ruggs. I agree. Well said, man. I agree.
So 10%, I think, if I had to say chances, it's 10%.
Yeah,
that might be.
I like the Rangers to win Game 4. I agree with that, Ruggs. Let me put it into perspective for all you positive Ranger fans, which, hey, I admire the Rangers' positivity and optimism. I really do. I was on social media, and I was getting a nice little chuckle of, the Rangers being optimistic. Let me put it into perspective. The last time a team came back from an 0-3 hole in the Stanley Cup Finals was 1942. The Toronto Maple Leafs came back against my Detroit Red Wings. Folks, 1942, Adolf Hitler was still alive, folks. And not to be offensive, I'm just trying to put this in perspective. The Holocaust was still going on.
Yeah, that's a long time.
That's a very long time ago, folks. Okay? So, hey, listen, I admire your optimism. It's great, but like Ruggs said, you're up Craps Creek without a paddle.
Yeah, if they were playing Anaheim, or if they were playing San Jose, or they were playing, my Blues, somebody that there's some chinks in the armor. There's some places that the Rangers' physicality and the special teams could improve, and there's some areas they could attack. I could say, they could come back 3-0 because they're capable. And when they get on a roll of momentum, we saw it in the Pittsburgh series when they got down 3-1. When they turned the momentum around, they just got on a roll, and Pittsburgh just got rolled right over, basically. Right. I don't see that with L.A. Yeah. They're too tough.
I tell you what, though, for some strange reason, I do think the Rangers are going to come back and make this a series. In no way do I think this team's going to get swept. I can't see it.
I don't think they're going to get
I
swept
refuse to believe this team's going to get swept, and I really think I have this feeling maybe it's because of the Pittsburgh series. Maybe I'm reading too much of the Ranger optimism. Maybe I've been getting hypnotized or brainwashed here. But
drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, but I really feel as though if it gets back to LA, I think they can win Game 5.
Yeah,
out
I do
there.
too. I do too.
And then if it gets back to New York for Game 6, they can win that. I really think now.
I'm glad you talked about that because I'm going to hit on that in a second.
I really think if they can I think they've got a puncher's shot to get it back to LA for a Game 7. Now, I won't go as far as saying they're gonna win 4 straight. That's kind of a pipe dream. I'd love to see them do it. I don't think it's really possible. But in terms of making this a series, I think they can do it.
Well, I want to hit on that, and this also will feed into our next segment on the NBA. I think people say it doesn't matter the format, the 2-3-2 against the 2-2-1-1-1. I think that's ridiculous. I think it matters a lot. It's a huge difference in the way. I think it improves the chances of a comeback like this by a lot. I think it takes away a little of the advantage of the team that gets the first 2 games. I don't think it's as great as it is in a 2-3-2. I think it's so much harder to win 3 games in a block. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about that with the Heat Spurs series when we get to that. I think, like you said, because you're going to start changing venues after every game now that the Rangers stay alive. You're going to start, really it's like 4 one-game series right now in effect.
Yep.
And I think that gives them a chance, like you said, to basically just get a fresh start each game, win 1 game at a time, and go on. They're not stuck in a block of having 3 games in a row and then having to go make the trip and have to win a back-to-back kind of thing on the road. It's an easy. You don't want to say anything is easy 3-0 down. It's not easy. It's a terrible situation. They got very little shot at doing it, but it's a difference maker. They have a better opportunity, I think, in this 2-2-1-1-1 setup that the hockey has for the finals rather than the baseball basketball 2-3-2 format.
Well said.
Again, I'll get more into that with the Spurs and Heat and how that series is shaking out. But I really thought we were going to be coming into tonight talking about it being 2-1, and I was going to get more into that. And it doesn't seem to be as important now that it's 3-0, but I do think that the reason I brought that up is because I think that I was going to say that the Rangers actually needed to win Game 2 less than the Heat did because of the way the format was. I thought the Heat really could not go down 2-0 because there's no way they were going to win 3 in a row at home. And if they were down 3-2 going back to San Antonio having to win 2 on the road, it was not going to happen. But again, I'm kind of teasing the next spot. When we come back, we'll get into the NBA Finals and talk about that. But that's what's facing the Rangers. We wish them well.
Yeah, but it's looking like Hamden's own Jonathan Quick.
It does look like
Hamden's own Jonathan Quick's going to be bringing back the Stanley Cup here
to
your house, Ruggs. He might be coming. He might be coming to the Ruggiero residence.
Hey, that's why I'm cleaning out the garage this weekend, to make a little room for Lord Stanley.
There you go.
All right, guys, we'll see you on the other side of this break on the Zuki and Ruggs Show, All Noise Radio.
Yo.
Do you lack confidence and assertiveness?
Can you open my milk, Mommy?
Do people have a difficult time determining your gender? Do you take constant verbal abuse from strangers?
They're just a bunch of pansies.
Well, you're a man. Time to start acting like one. Try our brand new product, Man in a Can. This barely legal concoction comes in several invigorating flavors, such as aftershave, motor oil, and beer.
Stings the nostrils in a good way.
This stuff will make you a damn sexual tyrannosaurus.
Time to man up. Get Man in a Can today.
All Noise Radio.
That's what I'm talking about.
All noise, all the time.
Which one has no penis?
Are you suffering from headaches,
Insomnia,
Nausea.
Boredom.
or do you just...
You want to get high?
no more coughing fits like the old days, no more stinky after-odors getting into your long hair, fabric, or drapes?
Try Food for Thought's baked goods. All your favorite dessert products with a kick.
The incredible edible.
We have so many delicious treats. Try our
Peace Crispy Treats,
Lifted Bites.
Peanut Buddha Bar.
Blitz Banana Bread.
Yummy, yummy gummy bears.
All our treats are made from finest organic ingredients and the finest bud.
Super Slippery Silver Haze,
Sour Diesel.
Granddaddy Perp. Killer Kush.
Hot Sauce Piff.
hashish from Vietnam.
I have no idea what's going on.
Food for Thought baked goods.
goods that will get you baked.
Side effects may include getting way too high, uncontrollable laughter, ridiculous conversations, forgetting about your problems, and I don't know if I said this yet, but
I'm so high right now.
Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Awesome.
Back on the Zuki and Ruggs Show, and we're going to get right into the NBA Finals and the series that is now tied at 1 game apiece after LeBron and the Heat won what I think was a must-win.
Oh, yeah,
in
it was.
Game 2.
Mm-hmm. Definitely
and
was.
98-96, LeBron goes and was LeBron, and 35-10. Just throws that down. But he didn't look quite the same at the end of Game 1.
Yeah, he
put it kindly, as he did at the end of Game 2.
Yeah, he loosened up, Ruggs. He loosened up. He got a nice little massagey there.
But it will obviously make a big difference when the building's not 112 degrees. But I thought that was funny because I do remember those 80s finals with the Lakers and Celtics when Boston Garden was always over 100 degrees in those finals. They never had any air.
They had no AC, yeah.
Never. So I was kind of surprised. I mean, you actually think you would think that the older Spurs would be hurt more by that. And it's not like Miami is Buffalo. I mean, these guys are not. They're used to 95 degrees and humid. So
Ruggs.
I'm not quite sure why it killed the whole team. Just seemed like they went in the.
Yeah, Ruggs, great point. To be honest with you, I was thinking the same thing when we first heard the news about the AC being broken, and I swear to God, I had nothing to do with it. I swear to God.
I told him he's working for Popovich and Jim Harbaugh on the same contract. Kill the lights, kill the AC.
Yeah. What's this fuse doing in your pocket, George? I don't know where this thing come from. But getting back to the game. Yeah, you're right, Ruggs. As I said, when the news first broke about the AC being broken, I agree. I really thought it was going to be a disadvantage to San Antonio. And then it's so funny because LeBron has never really been hurt. I don't remember ever seeing LeBron James being injured or hurt. And to see him that way was really shocking because I'm not used to that. I don't think anyone in America is. We're used to just seeing LeBron really being Superman, if you will. And to see him actually appear to be human, it was shocking to all of us. And I will say one thing I have to address. Please, this is why Americans really, I'm big on the Constitution. I'm big on the First Amendment, but sometimes some people should have it taken away from them. For anyone to say LeBron James is less of a man or less of a competitor for sitting out of that game, let me tell you something. There is no bigger competitor in the NBA than LeBron James. And you got to be a real coward to call him out. I mean, who are you to call out LeBron James? Are you kidding me? LeBron James couldn't even walk.
Yeah, at that point, you're no good.
He couldn't even
team
walk.
When your body seizes up with cramps, there's just nothing you're going to do
What's
about it.
the guy going to do?
I mean,
really, shame on him. Shame on people for.
I've seen triathletes
going after LeBron
who
James.
train their whole lives, total endurance freaks.
Yep.
Guys that do unbelievable training to their bodies. I've seen them home free in a triathlon with no one anywhere within a mile of them, cramp, seize up, and not be able to finish. Try to crawl across and not be able to do it.
Yeah,
and lose. I mean, so there's nothing you can do. It doesn't matter how competitive you are. It doesn't matter how tough you are. It doesn't matter how in shape or what kind of endurance you have. When you get to that point, your body just doesn't respond.
Exactly. So, I mean, that talk was just utter nonsense by fans across America. But it's a good way for them to get attention, bring attention onto themselves. That's why they do it.
And a lot of people don't like LeBron, and they kind of revel in seeing him in that state.
Yeah.
You could see, all the parodies on YouTube and everybody, that it was just all over the place. It was a big Twitter sensation, and kind of Twitter shut down for a while. It got so busy with all the naysayers.
LeBron quenched those jokes.
They are undefeated when they get down in the first game in Game 2.
Oh, they never lose 2 in a row.
This was 12-0 since they've been. This edition of the Heat with the big three is now 12-0.
After
they lose Game 1, which is an amazing stat.
Wow.
And not to this is not to throw light on a team that I used to watch and be intently on, but that's how the Yankees used to be in the 90s run.
Yes.
They would lose Game 1 a lot.
They would. You're right.
They would always get that second game, and it would be like they had to win it, or things were going to really, really come apart, and they would figure out a way
to win the
squeeze
game.
Across Game 2, and the series would kind of change after that.
All great teams, dude, Ruggs. That's a great point. All great teams, all great dynasties. Yeah, it's hard to beat them 2 in a row.
Right.
Like, I think the last time the Heat have lost 2 in a row, I think is that series against Dallas, no? The NBA Finals?
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think it's the last time they lost 2 games in a row. I don't remember them losing 2 in a row. I don't think San Antonio beat them 2 in a row last year, right? No, I don't think so.
No.
They would have if they didn't blow Game 6.
Yeah, I believe
they won Game 5, yeah.
Yeah, they did. They won 5 and then looked like they had 6 in the bag.
No,
and then
they had it.
Lost 6 and 7.
Yeah, but nevertheless, I'll say this about Game 2. Well, looking at Game 1, you look at the score of Game 1. That was really a crazy finish, wasn't it, Ruggs? I mean, when you look at it,
31-9 run at the end of the game.
I mean, they just couldn't miss. And the thing that was really nuts about that, it's a guy that should have been the finals. I think would have been the finals MVP if they had held on and won.
You called it too.
Danny Green came out
he'd
there
be a big factor,
and he really closed them out in Game 1. And I think he will be a big factor as the series progresses. But looking at Game 2. I don't know how you feel, Ruggs, but one thing that really irks me, and I mean really just pisses me off to no end, because listen, I talk about sports, I love sports, I watch sports, I'm a fan. You understand? I'm a spectator, okay? And that's what I do. I watch. And I'll never put myself in an NBA player's shoes, okay? I'll never say I can do that, or you can't do this, you suck, whatever. But if there's one thing that I can do that NBA players can do, that's make a freaking free throw. Okay? Make a freaking free throw. Spurs are up 87-85. You got a chance to take a 2-0 series lead here. Tony Parker gets nailed in the sternum. Flagrant foul. I get it. Guy gets hit. He was down on the ground. Got the wind knocked out of him. Fine. I don't care. Make free throws, Tone. Okay? Parlez-vous? Okay? Maybe you got Iver Longoyo on your mind still. Okay? Froggy? Make a free throw. Then, they get the ball back because it's flagrant. I'm like, Tim Duncan gets fouled. Oh, here's Timmy Duncan. He'll make some free throws. Hall of Famer. Greatest power forward of all time. Clank. 4 straight missed free throws. That, people, is inexcusable. I lost instant respect for the San Antonio Spurs after seeing that. You cannot win an NBA championship if you can't make a freaking free throw. Shoot it underhand. Do something. Go Shaq. Go Dwight Howard.
Yep.
Figure something out. Make a free throw.
John Calipari will tell you that.
Oh, yeah. Derrick Rose, another one. Yeah.
Yep.
Make a free throw. It's not that difficult. Instead of worrying about monster jams and taking 10,000 three-pointers in practice and all this garbage, how about you stand in the free throw line and you work on making a freaking free throw? Pathetic. Ruggs, pathetic. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, and I knew at that point the game was over. And what does LeBron do? Because LeBron's a winner. LeBron's a man's man who takes action. He nails a 3 to make it 88-87 Miami. You know what I did at that point, Ruggs?
Big shot, too.
You know what I did at that point, Ruggs? I turned the freaking game off. I turned it off. You know why? Because I knew the game was over. Because that's what winners do. Winners win. Winners make shots.
And he gave that Jordan-esque look after he made the shot, too.
Yeah.
Back at the crowd and then back to the middle of the...
Missing a free throw. Make him 4 straight free... What are you, the Buffalo Bills of free throws? You losers. That was just a big blow. And that... If the Spurs lose this series, which, you know what, after seeing that, I have trouble even backing up the Spurs now. How can I support the Spurs and say, they can win a championship? You can't make a freaking free throw. Are you kidding me? Pathetic. You have a chance to beat the Miami Heat. A free throw?
Yep.
Pathetic. But so kudos to LeBron. That was the turning point in the game, in my opinion. And I knew at that point in time the game was over, and Ruggs, it was.
Yeah, and I will say, I don't think it's as big a disaster for the Spurs to lose Game 2 as much as the Heat needed it. I think the Heat needed the game more.
I agree. Oh, yeah.
And now we go into the middle segment of the 2-3-2 in Miami, and Miami is undefeated at home in the postseason. I'm going to stand on, and not so very long of a limb here and say they are not winning all 3 games. I mean, I believe that the series is going back to San Antonio. In fact, if you go back through the annals of the NBA,
2 games.
No, this is 2-3-2 in the NBA Finals. That's the difference between, unless they changed it. Unless they changed it recently.
It's the first time since 1984.
They are going back this year.
It's 2-2-1-1.
Oh, I apologize.
It's okay. It's
Strike
okay.
that out. This is the first. Yeah, I was going to say it's never
first time.
So this actually, I think this helps Miami.
There you go.
I really do. Because I still was kind of, San Antonio's okay. Because if they just get one in the middle of three games in Miami, they go home. They have a chance to win like Miami did last year.
Yes,
win 6 and 7.
They changed.
That's
it.
a big difference, and
yeah.
I apologize for sleeping on that one, but that changes things a lot because the Heat certainly can get back-to-back games and go up 3-1, which would make it very difficult on San Antonio.
Ooh.
Then I actually like Miami in 6, which was kind of what initially I wanted to go with, but I thought it was going to be 6 and 7 on the road, and I really felt that San Antonio would just figure out a way to reverse last year's and pull out the Game 6 the way Miami did to them and then roll in Game 7 at home.
Right.
It does make a difference. I'm not going to change picks now. That's kind of cowardly. I'm going to stay with
right.
San Antonio in 7. But,
me too, even though I vented on it just now.
But San Antonio does need to split these games. I think Miami wins tonight.
Oh, yes.
They're about to tip off in half hour or so, but I think Miami does win tonight. But I think San Antonio will show their mettle and why they are San Antonio, and they'll get Game 4, and then we'll be back on serve, so to speak. A little too much watching of Rafael Nadal this weekend as I bring up being back on serve. We'll get to that later. But yeah, I'm not jumping ship on the Spurs yet. And I think one guy that has stepped up that's kind of, a lot of people don't even know he's on the team, but he's had some big impact for the Spurs, I think, has been Patty Mills. I think he's been a real contributor off the bench. He's a guy that they've used a lot. We've talked about in the last show about Boris Diaw.
Right.
He's got to continue to build, to be a part of that team in a big way, help them out. Kawhi Leonard, we've gone on and on about him, how huge he is, how his defense against LeBron James is going to be critical. He wasn't able to lock him down at the end of Game 2. LeBron was able to take over. We'll see how that matchup materializes for the rest of the way. I mean, there's no way one guy's going to shut LeBron James down for a whole series. We know that. But how much, he can wear LeBron down and wear LeBron out playing defense, young physical guy, is going to be key. Obviously, the shooting disparity, the threes, San Antonio lives a lot by the threes. That always worries me. It worried me going in, but when they hit them, there's something to watch when they're hitting those threes because their inside-outside game is just tremendous.
Yes, it is.
When they run the pick and roll to perfection the way they do when they hit those outside shots.
No, nobody moves the ball better than San Antonio.
Exactly. You just can't stop. There's no way to defend them when they do that. Obviously, the free throws, was the difference last year. The couple key misses, it cost them game 2, like Zuki just said.
Jesus.
It's got to be corrected because the Miami Heat don't miss the key free throws.
Yeah. I'll say this, Ruggs. You're right. They don't. And they do nail their free throws, including guys like Ray Allen and LeBron. Those guys always seem to come up huge on the free throw line. I will say this about the 2-2-1-1-1.
Yeah, I had a whole list of times when it's been done and how rare it is to run the 3 games.
Like I said, it's the first time since 1984.
I should have spent less time researching that and more time
it's all right.
figuring out the format.
Well, it's all right. Well, that's why I'm here, partner. We're a tandem, man. We're a team, man. But you always pick me up, too. But my point is that, honestly, I will say this. I know it sounds crazy. I think right now it actually does help San Antonio because I'll say it helps San Antonio in this regard, I should say. If San Antonio is able to split in Miami, which they'd better, because they'd better split in Miami, you got Game 5 in San Antonio. That's big. Rather than Game 5 in Miami, where if it's 2-2, that's kind of still home court.
I agree.
So I think this really does help San Antonio if, of course, obviously, they split in Miami. Now, if Miami takes both at home, obviously Miami's on their way to a three-peat and in the driver's seat, unless they, spit the bit. Because, let's be honest, we just said it, folks. Beating Miami 2 games in a row is borderline impossible. 3 in a row,
they're not going to do it.
They're not losing 3. LeBron James is not losing 3 games in a row. Neither is that team, that entire team. I think we'll see. It's been a great series thus far. It's been a great 2 games. Let's see how it goes from here on out.
Yeah, Zook, and we have so much that happened in this week and this weekend that we've only been able to really get into the hockey and basketball so far. So when we come back from this break, we are going to get into everything else that happened over this weekend and what's coming up for the week ahead and the weekend ahead for Father's Day weekend, which I know I'm looking forward to it. I want to see what's in store for me.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of yard work. Back on the Zuki and Ruggs Show after this.
When you need a cup, pour some sugar ramen.
Sugar ramen?
Yeah. Soup.
Freeze.
A call to the library could help her out. Good thing T-Mobile lets her call whenever she wants. Go.
Says here, pour some sugar on me. I'm hot, sticky, sweet.
Mm-hmm.
The most whenever minutes, free long distance and roaming. Only from T-Mobile.
Get more.
Bring the noise!
All Noise Radio.
Like Flavor said, that's how these songs to kill the noise.
Powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. The noise you can ignore.
Pay attention!
Everybody hates car accidents, especially from bad brake pads, so choose Callahan brake pads. They're durable, dependable, and come with an outstanding sales and customer service. Tommy Callahan says,
our new brake pads are really cool.
But if you do think that other brake pads are just as good, just ask our associate what happens when you choose the other guy's brake pads.
You're driving along, and all of a sudden the kids are yelling from the back seat, I gotta go to the bathroom, Daddy! Not now! Truck tire! I can't stop! Help!
Don't set your family on fire. Choose Callahan brake pads.
Bringing you fresh. Uno, seis. When I, uno, seis. When I, uno, seis. Please don't get up in my way. All Noise Radio.
We're back on the Zuki and Ruggs Show, and we're going to get into everything else that happened during this crazy weekend and what's to come for the week ahead and weekend, Father's Day weekend. That's coming up here rapidly. Well, I'll start with the Belmont Stakes because I thought that was really, as much as all these other stories in the local interest was out there with the Rangers, I really thought the biggest story going in was Triple Crown. First time since 78 that it had a chance to be won by a horse, and California Chrome gave it his best.
Hell of a run. Yeah, he did. He gave it a hell of a run.
I didn't think it was going to happen. I really didn't. The Belmont, I talked about it when I did the segment on the races a couple weeks ago. It's a killer.
It is.
It's a mile and a half. It's a beast. It's the biggest course in North America. It does not the horses just, it doesn't do well on their buys. When they've run 3 times in a 6-week span. It's just very, very difficult to do. We'll get into some of that stuff in a minute with how many times you should be able to run, how long between, how horses should be allowed to be entered and whatnot. But I just want to go a little bit into the race. I thought early California Chrome actually got the start you would love. I mean, the 2 position is not a great position in horse racing. But you can win from the 2 spot. You can win from any spot. It's better than the rail, obviously. But got a clean start. You don't get it often, but out of the gate, took a big stride. Outside front hoof gets caught with Matterhorn. The 3 horses inside left hoof tears a piece of his hoof right off, which on horses,
ouch.
Anything happens to your hoof, I mean that's life threatening. It really is. I mean,
Yeah.
not to put to make it too big of a drum. They say he's going to be fine. Didn't where it got, you can recover from it and not get the laminitis and all the other things that happen to horses, which we saw it with Barbaro. That was what really finished him off, was not the actual break of the leg. It was the infection from the that went through the hoof, through all the surgeries, and the fact that he was opened up because it was a compound fracture. That infection is what killed him. It's not the break. So you worry about that, obviously, but he ran the race. I'm not going to say that's why he didn't win the race, because I think he would have won anyway. You had, really a field which started with 3 or 4 horses that ran in the Derby. Then you had a bunch of horses that hadn't run at all. You had some horses that only ran in the Preakness. So it was kind of just a hodgepodge, a smorgasbord of runners. You had 11 horses in the race. Yep. You start the year with a 20-horse posting at the Kentucky Derby. I have no problem with starting. If you start with 20, if somebody can't go because you're worried about the health of the horse, you drop out of the Triple Crown circuit. I have no problem. It should go down through the Preakness, through the Belmont Stakes, but I don't like the new entries coming in at the end.
I agree.
And Tonalist is a great horse. I actually picked a couple of bets with Tonalist winning the Derby. I didn't win because I put him in with Chrome second, and he ended up 4th.
Mm-hmm. So,
how can you figure a horse like Commissioner has kind of been a dog all year? Best finish in the Triple Crown race this year was 5th. So he goes in there and nearly wins the thing. Tonalist had to catch him right at the end.
Yeah.
And just nose him out, won by basically by a neck.
It was a great run.
Yeah, it was an exciting race. I mean, that last furlong was unbelievable.
It was.
Really anybody's race. And Chrome got involved in the race.
At the end,
Yeah, it didn't go like some of the other failed, like Big Brown, who just basically gave it up at the half point. Burrell basically pulled him up when he didn't think he had a shot at it.
Yep.
He ran it out. I will give Espinoza credit. It's the second time he's had this opportunity. He had it in 2003. He had it with War Emblem, and I believe it was Empire Maker got him. And he did a similar thing where he tried to lead, about midway through the race. This time he was able to do it with War Emblem and then faded at the end, which so many of the horses do. He actually held back a little longer, I thought, and got in some traffic with California Chrome, and then tried to make the late run, which I thought was the right strategy. And when he got to the outside, I thought that was when he was going to take the race. I said, it might happen now. Problem was I didn't know anything about the injury. And when you're starting from the 2 spot, which is the furthest to the inside rail, to come all the way on the outside, you're running a lot of extra ground, and that hurt him. Yeah. And then Steve Coburn, his feelings were hurt, the owner of California Chrome, and he kind of called out Tonalist and said it's not fair that he should be able to enter late. And I don't disagree. But, you lose sympathy. Everybody was really, hurt that California Chrome did. The whole place was rooting for him. It seemed like America was really pulling for this to happen.
Well, yeah, I agree, Ruggs. I was as well. A lot of layman or casual horse fans were. It would be great to see a Triple Crown winner in our lifetime. But Affirmed, God rest his soul, is saying I'm still the man here. But Speaking of Steve Coburn, I will say I do agree with what he was saying. I don't like the new entries. I do agree that it is a triple crown.
I do. I
and
agree.
you should race all 3 races. I agree with him.
I think they should do something like a FedEx Cup does in golf.
NASCAR as well.
Exactly.
Man.
And make it a point system and put $5 million on the line or something to encourage these guys to run the 3 races. And they've talked about widening the distance between the races to try to spread it out and maybe make more entries. I don't know what they're going to do, but horse racing needs to be saved because it's in trouble. It's like my other sport, and I'm going to segue into that in a second. In boxing, it's in danger because it's not the big events. The big events draw.
Right.
There's 125,000 people at the Belmont. There's 100,000+ at Churchill Downs, Pimlico. For the big races, it's the day race guys, the guys who go out that weekend, take your family out to the track kind of thing. That's been declining over time. And a horse like California Chrome winning the Triple Crown and then being able to maybe even continue to run, those are the kind of things that bolster the sport and get new fans into it, because the new fans coming in is where they're going to have to grow the sport basically. But we'll go into boxing now because it's another sport that has the same problems. It's kind of given way to the MMA and things like that. You could not have had a more electric atmosphere than you had at 21,000 plus at New Madison Square Garden, because after the expansion, you can actually get 21,000 plus people in Madison Square Garden. Before this Stanley Cup final buzz came for Game 3, they had this, and this actually lived up to the excitement. The fight did not. It was a massacre, to be polite, to Sergio Martinez, who was a great middleweight champion, but he got his ass beat by Miguel Cotto, and basically on Puerto Rico Day weekend.
Yeah, it was
the parade, Puerto Rico Day parade. Weekend in the hub of the Puerto Rican world in America, basically in New York. It was just insane with people rooting for Miguel Cotto, and they just got what they wanted. He had him down within 1 minute into the fight. He just battered him.
Yep.
Finally, they mercifully stopped the fight a few seconds into it. Was either round 10 or round 11. I'm not sure, but Sergio Martinez's manager basically just, threw the towel and walked into the ring and stopped the fight. I mean, it was.
I thought Cotto was going to kill him.
He might have if they allowed it to go on. It was that bad.
I thought Cotto was going to kill him. Yeah, Cotto's impressive, man. He's a great fighter. I am a little surprised. The fight had a lot of hype. Didn't live up to the hype. What else is new with boxing? But not surprised by the result. I kind of knew Miguel Cotto was going to win the fight. I really didn't think Sergio Martinez had a shot in hell of beating him. But I didn't think it was going to go down that. I didn't think it was going to be that lopsided of a fight. But Miguel Cotto is he's still got it. He's a hell of a fighter, man.
And he'll be in the Hall of Fame. I think this probably cemented that.
Oh yeah.
But just an electric atmosphere.
Oh, the Garden was into it big time. Yeah.
And they need fights like this. The problem is they got to get it. They got to get the interest all year long. They can't just save it for one event a year. It's not going to do enough for the sport. They got to get new fans into it. They got to make you think it's clean and there's no issues
going on.
Well,
that's the problem, Ruggs. Good
point. The judging. Oh no, I'm sorry.
No, I stepped on you.
I mean, no, I did, but
Ruggs, you're right on the money with that, Ruggs. The problem is, when you have these fights on pay-per-view and you're charging people $60 and you get some shady referee, shady refs or shady judges, and then you get you don't know what you're paying for. Sometimes these fights go 2 rounds, and I think that's where I kind of lost a lot of interest in boxing.
Yeah, and the undercard was brutal.
You see these, it
really was. It was not.
You see these fights, and it's like you pay $60, and it's like it's over in 2 rounds. It's like that kills a lot of interest in the sport. I think a lot of people would much rather see fights for free, or whether they're on HBO or Showtime. Those fights do much better because who the hell wants to pay $60 for a fight? And you don't even know what you're getting, unless it's an epic fight that people will pay. But for the most part, man, people aren't going to pay $60 for a fight. It's just the way it is. And exactly, it's almost like pro wrestling in a way. It's like you've seen so many horrible, judgments,
or just bad fights, just boring.
Yeah, exactly.
Not interesting fights, and like you said, you just don't know what you're going to get with these fights.
Right.
I'll tell you though, what you do know you're going to get is when Rafael Nadal takes the center court at Roland Garros, that you're going to get a performance and a half, and you are going to have you're going to be up a creek without a paddle trying to beat this guy.
No, you can't do it. You can't do it.
And Djokovic started out great.
Yeah, it took the first set. And
I know. I don't know. You know.
Yeah, right. I thought the same thing. And then it was over. He should have went to the locker room right after the first set.
And he's a hell of a player, Djokovic, because
great player.
only he could have even got that kind of battle out of Nadal. I mean,
at this point, yes.
It did go almost 4 hours still. I mean, these guys know how to play some epics.
Because he crushed Murray. I was watching a little bit. He crushed Murray on
Murray's
fight.
A bad matchup for him.
He's
never had any success.
He ran through him like a hot knife through butter.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nadal, he very impressive in Roland Garros for his 9th French Open title. Unbelievable. 9 French Opens.
14
majors. So he ties Rod Laver for second all-time and Grand Slams. Kudos to him. And I got, Ruggs, you kind of first said it, and I jumped on board with you because almost by default, Maria Sharapova, ooh la la, mon chéri, she wins the French Open yet again.
Yeah, she didn't have the easy. I don't want to say Nadal's road was easy, but she went 3 sets pretty much throughout the whole event. And, so she showed her toughness there.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't get by blowing her opponents out. I mean, she showed the toughness she's kind of the old guard now, and other than the Williams sister, she's kind of the old guard, and it's hard to say that. She's only 31. But
she'll definitely be the odds-on favorite in Wimbledon as well, as far, you would think so. She's playing real well right now, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And I felt she was the most seasoned veteran in the field, and that's why she'd win. And that kind of panned out. But
good call, partner.
Obviously, there's a lot of young talent and rising stars out there. We saw Simona Halep, who was the runner-up, looks like somebody that's going to be forced to be reckoned with in the future, and is going to make she'll make her appearance at Wimbledon, and we'll see what happens with that. Is Azarenka going to come back and take over that top spot in the world rankings? Who knows? Caroline Wozniacki just signed to play in New Haven at the Pilot Pen right over here. Let's see if her career can get back on track. There's a lot going on in women's tennis right now. Sloane Stephens is a big story. Is she going to break through? She's been to the semifinals now, but got to get into that got to get a Grand Slam. I mean, that's really what tennis is based off. Similar to, we're going to segue into coming up this week. We got the U.S. Open at Pinehurst.
There you go.
Course number 2. You got to win the Grand Slams when you're a golfer too. And with the void left by the absence of Tiger Woods, now everybody's kind of looking at Phil. Is Phil ready to take this title? Is he capable? Obviously, he's capable.
He's capable, yeah.
As long as he's got breath in his body, he's capable of winning. But
Ruggs, it's his tournament to win. He's devoted his entire off season, even his season. He's kind of thrown it out the window. He has based his whole year around this tournament. I mean, ever since it was announced where the U.S. Open was going to be played this year, his main focus has been this tournament. And
this course catches his eye, too. He's very good historically at Pinehurst. Right. He had a memorable showdown with Payne Stewart in 99.
Fell short, yeah.
Fell short. Payne just drained a hole on birdie on the 72nd hole to win. Otherwise, they were playing a playoff the next day for 18 at least.
Yeah.
So he's been close here. He's got the game to win at this course. We'll just say
that. This course does suit Phil. Well said, Ruggs. You'd think he's the odds-on favorite. Hopefully he wins it here. You'd like to see Phil finally get this monkey off his back and win a U.S. Open. He's a beloved golfer in this country, not throughout the world as well, but especially here.
Yeah.
And so you really want to see him do it. I hope he does. America's going to be behind him.
Yeah, like you said, I think Tiger Woods has worldwide appeal, but I think American, the rowdy bunch at the golf course roots for Phil.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So hopefully he can do it here. We're all pulling for him. The thing that worries me a little bit is when Phil puts the pressure on himself, that's when he tends to make mistakes. And hopefully he can keep himself level-headed, trust his game, don't get overly aggressive, and just stay within yourself here.
Drive the ball in the fairway.
Right. That helps. Play the course. You know the course. One shot at a time, one hole at a time, one day at a time. Win the tournament, and hopefully Phil can do it and get his first U.S. Open and his 6th Grand Slam. Not Grand Slam. Well, Grand Slam. Yeah, major title. Golf calls it a major. I'm sorry.
In golf you have to win the whole thing to be considered to win the Grand Slam.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But absolutely, you're right on there.
So hopefully he can do it. It's gonna be a great weekend of sports, man.
Yeah.
Who said that this is a slow time?
It couldn't be any. I know it couldn't be any quicker. It just happens to be that this time of year, and now you got a once in every 4-year event in the World Cup coming up.
World Cup. Oh my God.
From Brazil, they're starting it off Thursday when the home team always traditionally opens it up a day early.
Yep.
I believe they're playing Croatia, if I'm not mistaken, in the first game, but doesn't matter. It's usually not a good thing to be the host country as far as winning the whole tournament.
I think
hasn't 78 in Argentina, I believe.
France in 98.
France did. That's right. They beat Brazil.
Very
good call. But before France in 98, it was 20 years earlier with Argentina winning it at home. And, I think it might happen again. I mean, my pick is Brazil if I had to be...
They are playing Croatia. Good call, Ruggs.
Handicapped right now, I'm going to say Brazil is my favorite to win it. There's some teams to watch out for. You got to... Obviously, I know they've got some injuries. Spain is a big contender.
Really good. I know they're still really good. For some reason I like Brazil as well. I don't know why. I just have this feeling. I know you got Germany and you got so many other countries. I know Argentina's got Messi, but besides him, the team's pretty good, but they're not good enough to win it all. There's so many great teams out there, but I just keep looking at Brazil and just thinking it's in their home.
Yeah,
I think I could see Neymar, who's a tremendous player, becoming a worldwide superstar here on the biggest stage, which is the World Cup. I could see Neymar really trying to become the next Pele here and making a big impact. I'm with you, Ruggs. For some reason, I just have this feeling like Brazil's going to do it again. Like I said, there's a lot of great teams out there, like I said, Germany, Spain, so on and so forth. There's a lot of great teams out there that can win it. But I'm with you. I have the same feeling about Brazil.
And I think the U.S. has to make the second round, the elimination round, to have it be a successful, obviously, tournament, because they're expected to make it now. It's not like some in years past where it's kind of a bonus if they get by into the knockout round. I think they have to do it this time, or Klinsmann could be in some trouble. As far as being the coach.
I agree.
They expect results out of him now. He made the call to leave Donovan off the team. He has to show that it was the right decision and, get through.
Yeah, a little bewildering to not have Landon Donovan there. It kind of bothers me. He's an emblem of our country, but in terms of American soccer, but hey, maybe he was too old. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, and we'll get back with you next week, and we'll kind of reconvene. And
real quick, congratulations to all you NASCAR fans out there. Dale Jr. Dale Jr. with a big one. And
almost went under the radar.
Yeah, real quick story. It was so funny because when I was in Vegas, I was there for that race. Keselowski stole the win from Jr., and now how ironic that Jr. stole the win from Keselowski at Pocono.
Wow.
So that was pretty interesting, but pretty ironic there. Yeah, crazy stuff. But yeah, it was a wild weekend. Yeah. That's
all right, guys. Well, take care, and we'll see you in 1 week. Same
Happy Father's
time,
Day,
same
everybody.
Channel. Yeah, thank you.
Ruggs,
Happy Father's
Day, Ruggies.
Thanks, buddy, and Happy Father's Day to everybody out there. And take it easy on All Noise Radio. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Do you hate your GPS? Of course you do. That's the point. They're emasculating, but are they really emasculating enough? Well, they are now.
Oh, sure. Take this route. Why don't you just ask them to steal our hubcaps, you dummy?
Introducing the Navigational Annoyance Guidance System, a.k.a. NAG.
Hey, eyes on the road. We don't want to die.
With NAGs, you'll be so irritated you'll have no choice but to follow the right road. Order now and get the maternal sound-alike chip absolutely free.
I can't believe I gave birth to such an idiot.
NAGs.
Order now, damn it.
All Noise Radio.
Not
powered by the Score Broadcasting. Oh, Piggy can run. AllNoiseRadio.com.
Have you been told that your breath smells like hot garbage? Do coworkers avoid you like the plague? Then you could be suffering from garbage breathalytis. However, no worries. For just 3 easy payments of $19.95, you can get Febreze breath spray. Just 2 squirts per day takes the garbage breath away. So get Febreze breath spray. We'll take the garbage out of your mouth.
It's a slam dunk, talking hoops on the Zuki and Ruggs Show.
Battling under the boards, dishing the rock on the Zuki and Ruggs Show.
All Noise Radio, powered by the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
I cannot believe this. This is the best news I've had all week. And I know I can't live without my radio.
I'm sick to death of your mess and your noise.
The noise you can't ignore.